Thank you so much. Thank you so much, relatives. Nekane, Mutoka, Tupak, Enrique Acosta, Yaltashka, Tatoka, Naokali. I just want to put a question in front of them. I'll make a comment that you get for context. But the question I would ask your thoughts, both Arthur and Naomi, related to the issues that we're discussing here in terms of a regional context on a broader level, specifically the North American Free Trade Agreement context as a geopolitical arrangement among these corporations using the states as an instrumentality of their extractive policy, their extractive criminality. It's a crime. It's a crime against Mother Earth. We could call it terroricide, but the problem with that concept, it has yet to be codified in the international and global arena like genocide is now, but was not before. So as a thought related to what was just said, the other night Arthur got to, this is the question, the context for the question, the North American Free Trade Agreement, how can we mobilize to meet, like we're meeting here, at that front line, at a regional level, as indigenous nations from Mexico to Canada, including these criminals in the U.S. boundaries. The other part is, what implications does that have if we could create a common front from Mexico to Canada as indigenous peoples against these trade agreements? What would that imply as we need to face off with the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement? So that's the question, but to give you a little bit of a context to that, I'm very pleased to be here again with Naomi and Arthur for two reasons related. One, because I was arrested with Naomi in front of the White House at that action we did with the Keystone Pipeline, and the other being because I was with Arthur when we arrested, when they were trying to put in place the Free Trade Agreement of the Americas back in Argentina. Arthur and I showed up there. We were part of a march where we actually put them down. They were going to put together the Free Trade Agreement of the Americas, and we stopped that. We arrested them at that time, but it took a lot of folks, including non-indigenous folks, people who had lost their children as a result of the policies of Henry Kissinger. They would pick up the kids in the middle of the night, put them in helicopters, and drop them in the river. Pinochet government. These are not governments. These are criminals. This is not government. This is the cartel, political, tied with economics to these corporations. We always hear this phrase, oh, but you don't have jurisdiction. Arthur took me to see Wolverine the other day. I was there 21 years ago. We walked out of that Sundance ground. I was one of the last ones. And I'm going to say it here, let's let it be known. No. Wolverine did not come out to get arrested. No. Wolverine came out to arrest, just like I said here. He came out to arrest the Canadian government. He came out to arrest Her Majesty the Queen and the right of Canada for violation of their presumed rights as a settler state in the territory. So here's my closing. We're talking about jurisdiction. We're talking about they don't have jurisdiction. Yes, but to get to that point of clarification, we have to first understand that all legal systems emerge from precepts of jurisgenesis. Without jurisgenesis, you don't have jurisprudence. And without jurisprudence, you don't have jurisdiction. And without jurisdiction, you can't make judgment. So going back from judgment to jurisdiction, jurisprudence, it begins with jurisgenesis. So we know that the jurisgenesis of the government-state system that came out of Westphalia in 1648, where they took the divine right of kings and put it on the divine right of states, what we're dealing with, whether it's Canada or even Bolivia, Ecuador, talk about China, these are all entities of the geopolitical mechanism known as the United Nations. Let's clarify it. Let's arrest that concept right now. They're governments, yes. They're states, yes. But we are the nations. We are the nations. And when we can stand up and fight together in defense, not of the territorial integrity of the states, what did I just say? Not in defense of the territorial integrity of the states, but in defense of the territorial integrity of Mother Earth, then we have got to where we got to be to. Thank you.
Thank you, Tupak.